Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Vijender Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English, and at present, I have been posted at Government College, Gudha, in the Jammu district. The series of video lectures, which is being prepared by me, today's video lecture is meant for the students of Class BA Part First, Subject English Literature, Paper Second. And in this video, we are going to talk about the critical appreciation or analysis, what the author has tried to say in his essay Third Thoughts. That is E.V. Lucas' purpose of writing this essay has been discussed in this video. E.V. Lucas or Edward Vera Lucas was born in 1868 and died in 1938. And he is a well-known English author. He occupies a high place, respectable place among the English authors. He is regarded as a versatile genius. Means he has displayed his talent in various fields, and he possesses the rare art of writing Homer pieces, travel books, novels, and essays with the same ease and grace. As an essayist, he possesses remarkable charm. He attracts the attention of the reader through his writings. He achieved success as a prolific author of. Prolific means who has written much. Author of light, entertaining, popular non-fiction and novels. He was best known as a witty and observant essayist whose interests ranged from sports and domestic life to fine arts and literature. That is, he can compose his composition, it may be novel or essay, on any field, on anything, on any topic, and his range is very big. He has been described as the Elia of 20th century. We know Charles Lamb used to write through the pen name of Elia, and he was very humorous and witty writer. In the same way, our present author is also very witty. The essay entitled Third Thoughts has been taken from the Pantheon Journal, and it was published in 1990. The title of the essay is coined by Lucas, it's made up by Lucas from the phrase second thought. As we know, second thought means any opinion or decision taken after reconsideration. And third thoughts, therefore, would mean resolve or opinion which is formed after repeated reconsideration, means after thinking again and again. In this essay, the author describes an incident just as he is supposed to have heard from a friend. This fact he makes clear in the opening sentence of the essay. Means he does not hide this fact. He makes it very clear, and he writes, "This story was told to me by a friend." The author's friend, if we try to know what is the outline story, the author's friend purchased a picture for 10 shilling, maybe 20, and sold it for 50 pounds. He was very happy, and at first he felt inclined to pay half of the profits to the dealer from whom he had purchased the picture. Means he was so happy that he wanted that he should give half profit which he has earned in this bargain to the dealer. Then he decided to reduce the gift to 10 pounds, then to 5 pounds, and then to 1 pound, and then to nothing. Then he again think, and think this way. In the end, he thought that he should not give anything. Thus, the essay is a sort of story. The hero or the protagonist of this story was a man who usually unfortunate in his business transactions, was very unlucky as far as business transactions are concerned. It was his lot, destiny. to buy in the dearest markets and to sell if he at all succeeded in selling in the cheapest. But an exception to this rule took place the other day. He had put through a successful deal. Means the other day he was able to earn a huge profit in his business transaction. The storyteller was wandering aimlessly about the old curiosity shops of a cathedral city, that is religious city, you can say. He saw a painting. It appeared to him to be a painting by Turner. He asked the dealer what its price was. The dealer replied that if it were a genuine Turner, its cost would have been very high. Naturally, if it would have been the real picture painting by the great artist Turner, then it would have been very costly. But as he was not sure of its genuineness, he would sell it for 10 shillings. The storyteller bought it for 10 shillings. Soon he found that the painting was a genuine painting of Turner. He sold the painting for 50 pounds in the first flush of his elation, that is, in his happiness. He decided that he should, in the fairness to the dealer, share his profit equally with the dealer. That he should give half of the profit to the dealer. This was the first thought. First thought, remember, because our essays has been entitled third thought. So first thought, this was the first. Now, so that he first thought was that he should give half of the profit to the dealer. So he wrote a letter about the dealing and his decision to make the dealer a sharer of his good fortune. But as he had no stamps and the hour was late, he did not post the letter there. He went to bed. Means he wrote that he is very a humble citizen and it is his nature that he should do such kind of things, etc. etc. He wrote like that. At 3:30 a.m. he woke up and could get no sleep for some time. He began, as he was usual on such occasions, to review the many errors of his life. He started rethinking about the deeds which he committed or which he did in that life. He then remembered his latest success in connection with the Turner painting. This led to an examination of the letter he had written to the dealer. He had made up his mind to give the half of the profits of the bargain to the dealer. But now he thinks it to be futile. He thought that he should not give him half of the profit. He puts a question to himself. Why should he give half of the profits to the dealer? Why should he be so generous to lose his profit? He thought the world is not for quixotic, means for person who do not believe in real life, but they who live in imagination. Everyone is selfish in this world. This is reality. If he gives half of his profit to the dealer, it will be mere quixotry. Moreover, the dealer had done nothing to detect the genuineness of the painting. In fact, according to the storyteller, he was a failure as far as his business is concerned, as he could not decide, he could not detect the genuineness of his painting. The storyteller takes his behavior of the dealer as his inefficiency, incompetence. And to reward the dealer would be to reward inefficiency and foolishness. So he decided that it would be quite enough if he sent the dealer 10 pounds. Means first thought was half of the profit. Now he decided, that is second thought, that he should give only 10 pounds. The storyteller then took a book of short stories and read one story in a vain effort to woo sleep. As he could not get sleep, it was trying to get sleep. Again, in his wakefulness, he began to think about the dealer. If he gave him 10 pounds, the dealer would form a wrong idea about his customer, he thought. And he would expect all customers to reward him as the same way as the storyteller was going to do. Means he is now thinking, see, real quixotic, or we call Mungeri Lal dreams, that if he would give him 10 pounds, he would expect the same kind of gift from other customers also. This would lead to daily disappointment on the dealer's part, and his life would become bitter and miserable. So the storyteller decided to reduce the reward from 10 to 5 pounds. Now the third thought you can say, from half, then 10, and now 5. The next morning, while he was dressing, the question again came into his mind for further consideration. Why should he give away a large part of his profits, a profit which had come to him for the first time in his life? As we know, he was able to get a benefit or profit in his business transaction for the first time in his life. He thought the goddess of business, who had smiled on him for the first time in his life, would frown on him, would become angry with him, if he showed such scant respect for her favors as to pass on to another what she had given him. She will become unhappy again. No, 5 pounds was absurdly too much. 1 pound would meet the case. Now again he considers and decides that he should, instead of 5, should give only 1 pound, accompanied by a brief note. So he wrote a letter and put this and a check for 1 pound in an envelope. He had the envelope in his pocket when he went to club for lunch. That afternoon he lost so heavily at bridge that he was glad he had not posted it. Why he was glad? He was glad because he thought that if he had posted, then definitely his soul or his mind would have told him that it, by giving away his profit, he has annoyed or made angry goddess of business. The result is his failure. Now, so he has decided not to give anything. Destroying the envelope and its content, the storyteller realizes that buying and selling is some sort of a contract between the buyer and the seller. It is a matter strictly between the dealer and the customer. It is between something which is strictly limited between dealer and customer. As in a contract, one party offers something for certain consideration to the other party accepts his offer for that consideration. In the same way, the dealer of the thing offers a thing for a price that he gives. For example, the painting he offered the 10 shillings, take the price. So take the painting. The customer accepts that thing for that price. When the customer pays the price required by the dealer, he is entitled to all the benefits of that thing. While telling the price, the seller includes all his profits in it. Therefore, the buyer is under no obligation, is under is not under an obligation to give any more profits to the seller. Now, if the buyer makes further profits out of that thing, it is not required from him to give a share to the seller in his profits. From the point of view of commercial dealing, the author is all right and in his final judgment that the buyer is under no obligation to share his profits. As the buyer has paid what was demanded by the seller. So now what happened, whether he earns profit or loses, it has nothing to do with the dealer. The storyteller compels us to take note of the fact that we hold discussions with our inner selves spurred by a noble thought. Sometimes we are motivated by our soul that we should do a noble cause, but ultimately act to please ourselves. But we do not listen to our soul, we act according to our mind. Our actions are not guided by any noble thoughts, but by our self concerns. The storyteller's impulse told him to be generous and fair, but his mind did not agree. If he had listened to his impulse, his inner being would have been happy, perhaps. So he would have felt very happy, very happy. But he would have antagonized the goddess of business, which has annoyed, disregarded, or displeased the goddess of business. He has credited her to quieten his soul. Bargaining with one's soul is a common practice with us because we are constantly trying to justify our actions not to anyone else but to our own wills, whether we call it the soul or conscious. Because most of the time we're trying to say to our soul that yeah, I have done this right, right, etc., etc. We can interpret the words dealer and the customer in a deeper sense. The storyteller's soul too can be interpreted, can be the dealer with which he was bargaining. He is ultimately happy to get a happy deal. He doesn't pay anything, but this type of bargaining with one's soul must have rattled him to consider it important enough to relate it to the writer. It is true we bargain with our souls, and narrator implies that once a deal is settled, the matter is closed. But is this true of one's soul? In the matter of, say, commodities, it is okay that if the deal is done, then it is closed. But the same thing applies to souls? No, this sign of interrogation. It means there is something else. Apparently, the incident is not closed. Otherwise, the narrator would not have talked about it to the author. Perhaps by narrating this incident, the narrator gets a sense of relief as this narration is also a tactic. The author has aptly observed that the point of this narrative resides not in bargaining with the collectors but in bargaining with my own soul. Now, it is true, this can be the one question that whether it is bargaining with the customers or with the soul. So we can say it is bargaining with soul. Now there can be another question, and you can conclude by this, and you will find that the question can be answered in this way also. The author is trying to tell us this material world puts less emphasis on purity, which does not give importance to purity, originality, guarantee, genuineness, and fairness. Meaning we live in this present world and we do not give so much importance to these things. The story may also be interpreted to mean man is hypocrite. Man is not a genuine person, he is very hypocrite. He says one thing and but does another thing. It is the habit of the human beings to say one thing and does another. He gives a false appearance of having admirable principles, beliefs, and feelings. The narrator first behaves as if he was a really generous person, but later he shows his miserly character. That is basically a miser person. In a nutshell, the story reflects the innate greed in man that dominates everyone's desire to be good or generous. It is study of the human psyche that comes to one's frailties, weaknesses. Is it is human psychology which surrenders before our weaknesses. There can be another question. The same thing will be, the ending will be like this. Thus, we see that Lucas here deals with a minor mental struggle in a manner as if it were a grand spiritual struggle, very, very huge struggle. Of course, great principles are involved. And the mental struggle described represents the economic selfishness of our modern society. However, the storyteller debating whether to pay or not is no Hamlet. That is, he takes the decision. He is not like Hamlet who could not take decision. The almost epic grandeur and glamour thrown over a petty commercial deal recalls Lamb's genius in transforming the commonplace. Lamb, Charles Lamb, is famous for describing a common incident in such a beautiful and attractive manner. And the same thing happens in this essay. E.V. Lucas has reminded us of the talent of Charles Lamb. Behind this story is a gentle satire on our money-making civilization. That is, we live in a civilization which do not give importance to our noble feelings, but give importance to our mind. Thank you very